here today by Special Counsel Rita Peters of our Office of Statewide Prosecution, Paige Tucker from our prosecution office as well, and Monica Satcher, who's a mom of 6 and founder of the Acts of Love Ministries. So we're all about protecting families in Florida and keeping our streets safe, and we've noticed a recurring trend, and that is that child predators are using these dangerous devices right here to get to our kids. I can't say enough to parents at home to scare you about the dangers that are out there. There are sick people out there, and they're using these social media applications to find their ways into your homes, to reach out to your kids. They're deceptive. They lure them in. They prey upon them. They try to set up meetings. They ask for photos, and we're not going to tolerate that. We're going to hold these people accountable. So today we're announcing that we have filed, as of last night, a lawsuit against Snapchat based on the dangerous practices that they have in operating their company. Last year, it was a priority of the legislature. I want to thank Speaker Paul Renner and his Chief of Staff, Allison Carter, that passed House Bill 3. That was a big deal to them, and for good reason. We continue to see case after case after case where young kids are preyed upon using applications. And Snapchat happens to be one of the worst offenders. Just recently, as Rita can tell you, we were tracking a registered sex offender who for months was online pretending to be other people, seducing young people into sending photographs. House Bill 3 added protections where young teenagers and kids are not allowed to have access to these social media applications. People that are 15 or 16 can have access so long as there's parental permission and that parents have the opportunity to engage in various controls and opportunities to track and know what their kids are doing. And again, this is a decision for parents, but I encourage everybody at home, please pay attention. Know what your kids are doing on the devices and understand the risks, the dangers that are out there. So kids 15, 16, they can have access with parental permissions, but what we're finding is Snapchat is advertising to kids as young as 13, and kids are able to access these applications and receive photographs and things without knowing what it is. There are not proper procedures to make sure that we know what kids are receiving before they receive them. I've never had Snapchat personally, so this has been a learning experience for me. But our investigators, show where these things disappear very quickly. That's the inherent nature of Snapchat. Photos, messages, they're sent and immediately disappear, which has made this a favorite application for the predators that are out there and want to get access to our kids. We're going to be putting these bad guys away, and we're going to be going after companies that operate in a dangerous manner that puts our kids at risk. We also just last week started an investigation into Roblox. This is another online application that enables young people to come in and play games. However, again, this is creating this network where adults, sick people that are out there, pretend to be others, develop relationships, and take advantage of this platform to try to go after our kids. We're not going to tolerate that, not for a minute. We've got millions of people here in Florida that use Snapchat, and tens of thousands of them appear to be teenagers. So we're going to crack down. We're willing to work with all these companies. We hope that you will want to be cooperative and will want to protect our kids. The sex offender, child predator stuff aside, the nature of these applications is also such that it messes with the minds of kids. They design these things, we've got evidence, to be addictive, where there's the constant scrolling, there's push alerts that hit you throughout the day, there's other strategies used to incentivize people to communicate more frequently with others on these platforms. We're seeing increased mental health issues, increased suicides. Kids are reacting and changing in a very dangerous way when they spend hours and hours on these platforms that, again, are designed to be addictive. So we're going to be monitoring those things as well. We've got various consumer protection arguments that we're raising, many of these coming from House Bill 3 from last year. In Florida, we don't just walk the walk, we talk the talk. So I was glad to see our legislature pass this important bill to protect our kids, and we're here to follow up with enforcement here today. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate our statewide prosecutors for the wonderful work they do to fight to keep our state safe, strong, and free. So with that, I will turn it over to Rita. We're getting to do this quite a bit now.
I know. Thank you, General. I am very thankful to be part of a team that puts the protection of our children first and foremost in the state. I've been prosecuting sex crimes and child exploitation for approximately 26 years, and I have seen the face of prosecution change dramatically. With the advent of technology, I've had to learn new and different ways that our individuals who are trying to prey on our children are going to target them, but social media has brought it to a whole different level. Apps like Snapchat give these predators an opportunity to go almost undetected to gain access to our children, and it provides a challenge for prosecutors, but we're here to meet that challenge. Children who have access to these applications are not being sufficiently protected by these applications and by these companies. In fact, some of them don't even work very well with law enforcement when we actually try to get assistance in protecting these children, to the point that they inform these predators that we are seeking information through subpoenas or search warrants. So they put up roadblocks for us to get the protection for our children. But in addition to the passion that this office has for protecting our children and the most vulnerable in the state and in trying to carry that mission out, I'm speaking as a mother of a now adult but was a teenager who grew up in the advent of social media for teenagers. And I was not immune to the challenges that poses for parents these days. My daughter came to me several times when she was approached online in the social media apps with unwanted solicitations and unwanted photographs that no 14 or 15-year-old should ever have to see. We quickly learned how to protect her, and I prosecute these cases. And we made her account private, had a very long discussion with her, and blocked these users. But I had to do that. I had to take that proactive step. The social media apps didn't assist, even if I sent them the message. So it is something that is lacking, and I am very thankful that our Attorney General is moving forward to protect our children and taking our mission that far, and also that we are going to stand strong as prosecutors and take this challenge on and hold these people accountable. Thank you.
Thanks, Rita. Paige, you want to say something?
Just here to support.
Okay. All right. Very good. Monica, please come up.
Thank you. Thank you so much for what this office is doing. I am a mother of 6, currently of 3 teenagers, and then 10, 7, and 3, and I deal every day with social media. Not only that, with my organization, I rescue women and children of sex crimes, and the women that we've rescued were the children who were taken advantage. One woman I rescued 8 years ago, her father sold her on Craigslist. So it disgusts me. It disgusts me what we deal with. My teenage boy constantly wants to download Snapchat. I'm fighting with them. It's an addiction, and they make it that way. And just like she fights hard, I fight hard to work for it. Well, what about this regular mom and dad that don't know? Or you read the terms, and it looks like they're safe. It took the office 3 months to reply, but a parent contacts them. What are they going to do? As parents, I appreciate living in Florida. We don't mess with our kids in Florida. That's all I can say. But it's important to protect our kids. It's important to come against these companies that want to continue to say they protect our kids, but then allow predators to extort them. You realize since 2021, 20 male teenagers have taken their life because of sextortion. One teenage boy in a good family, within a few days, was extorted, and within 24 hours, took his own life. This is not okay. And we're going to do our part as parents, but our hands are tied. That's why we need things like this. So I think it's important what we're doing. And parents, your kids' privacy is earned. It's not. Check their phones, check what's going on, and talk to them, because you think your kid's okay. You think this isn't going to happen to them. But in the privacy of their rooms at night, and don't even let your kids have your phones at night, okay? Take them at 10 and put them in your room. I mean, these things are so important. You don't understand. These statistics are real. And it's not that your kid is not okay or not a good kid. It's that these predators are out there, and it happens in minutes when they get on these apps. So protect your children, know what's going on, and just thank you again for all that you're doing.
Yeah, we're not going to let people cash in on our kids. We're going to stand in the way. We're going to protect them. This lawsuit is just the beginning. We'll be looking at all the various applications that are out there and making sure that companies are operating responsibly and that they are taking every measure necessary, not just to comply with House Bill 3, but to make sure they're protecting kids every which way they can from the harmful predators that are out there. As we've been working on this, we've been talking to parents up and down the state, and as people start to pay attention, they come forward and they bring us the messages. And it's sickening what you see with your own eyes, the very sophisticated efforts that these people go through to drop the guard down of the kids and to develop a friendship. And again, they're oftentimes pretending to be other young people. They're using photos that are not their real photos, and they develop these relationships, and then they find ways to solicit and seduce our young people. So we're not going to tolerate it. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for spreading the word. We've got to protect our kids, and this is the new battleground. So happy to take a few questions.
Can you go into more detail with how Snapchat is actually breaking the law, House Bill 3, and then also what your ultimate goal is with the lawsuit?
Sure. A few different ways. We can see evidence that they are trying to make these applications more addictive. We believe we need to protect consumers from these harms. They have an obligation under House Bill 3 to make sure that kids below a certain age threshold do not have access to the platforms at all. I don't see any reason why a 12 or 13-year-old should be accessing these applications. There's no good to come from it at that low age of development where you're not prepared for what's out there. Older teenagers, again, have rights under the law, but it's got to be at parental consent. A parent has to be involved, has to affirmatively approve this access, and ultimately must have access to some of the protocols and tracking and things that some of the companies are trying to put forward, and I do appreciate those efforts.
And those guardrails aren't in place.
Correct. And the complaint is now publicly available. You can pull it and look through the specifics of the case.
Sir, if I could ask just about a different topic, how involved were you in arranging the SEC team?
We're here to protect our kids against predators, and you want to talk about these politicized narratives. I was not involved in the settlement negotiations related to the Hope Florida contribution. And looking at it, everything looks legal. The attorneys, they looked at this, they negotiated it. I assume both the state and Centene had attorneys that were involved. Obviously, there's this representative that's on this tirade. He seems to be somebody doing the bidding of big marijuana. He was running a bill this year to provide rampant access to marijuana. And, I'm not going to apologize for my stance in the policy fight. You might disagree with me there, but at the end of the day, this was not marijuana in your own, private home. This was basically unrestricted use anywhere in public, parks, restaurants, theme parks. I like what we've built here in Florida. I want to protect our kids from those dangers too. And in states that have created such rights, you see ER visits for kids going up 2-3-fold, especially where you've got the gummies and candies and attractive materials. I didn't want that to happen in Florida, so I was happy to fight that effort. I was happy to work with many legislators to fight that effort. And our law enforcement, they talk about what they see when marijuana gets into the hands of kids.
And given you say you've done everything right, would you comply with the request for public records?
Yeah, we've got an obligation to provide records, so we'll be providing records. At this point, I know the media says I've been subpoenaed to do things. Nobody has sent me a subpoena. I've not been asked to go anywhere, but I feel good about what we did. At the end of the day, there were nonprofits. C3s and C4 entities can absolutely support issue committees. I think the media misunderstands the difference between issue committees and political candidate committees under the IRS code. An issue committee can fight against a ballot initiative, and I'm very thankful those groups stepped up and helped us secure a big win.
You don't think it'll have to come to a subpoena?
I haven't received any subpoenas, no. I have obligations to turn over public records. I'm committed to doing so.
Sir, but we do know that the $10 million that went from the settlement to Hope Florida was in fact Medicaid dollars that are regulated. And now that we know that, do you believe that it was legal to transfer that money and then use it for political ad?
Again, I wasn't part of securing the deal that was struck. My understanding is that there was a sweetener in there that the Centene's estimated harms to the state was 56, 57 million, and that there was a sweetener put in there because the state was acting in good faith. But again, if it's a contribution to a 501c3 entity, that is not state dollars, that is not Medicaid dollars. But I'll let the lawyers that worked on the deal.
That explains that that's not the case.
I have not seen the reporting today, but again, my understanding is that this was a sweetener in addition to other numbers that were being negotiated. Again, I wasn't part of that deal. I did run the effort to oppose Amendment 3. I'm glad for what we did. I stand ready to fight if they want to come back and push marijuana deep in public places in society where you can't get away from it. Again, we got a big medical program that's regulated. People that need marijuana for medicinal reasons, they have access to it. I think it's a very robust market. And people that want to do it in the privacy of their own home, that's a very different situation. But public use, where it's around our kids, where we can't get away from it, where it challenges the way of life we hold dear, I do take a problem with that. So does anybody have a question about protecting our kids? I'm kind of tired of the politicized narratives.
When it comes to Snapchat, do you have evidence that they know that they're allowing young people, 13, 14, onto the site when you say it should be 15, 16?
Yes.
And that evidence is in what form or?
We've got tons of evidence and witness testimonies. We've got a robust record that will come out during this case. And again, I direct you to take a look at the complaint that's been drafted that I think will be eye-opening for you.
Is there anything new with the FSU suspect? Do you know if he is out of the hospital yet and about any charges that could come about?
I don't have additional information there. We've been running around in Tampa all day today, busy day, but I will say this. After watching some of the security footage there at the campus, I can't say enough good things about the campus police that responded. Those guys were heroes. To get there in 60, 90 seconds, in a matter of minutes after gunshots are fired, that's something you see in the movies, but it's not easy to actually respond that quickly in real life. Those guys deserve a lot of praise. I think they saved many lives that day.
Are you going after Snapchat to shut down or to just put the proper guardrails in place?
Well, I want proper guardrails in place, most certainly. I think there will be some damages for the conduct. And I'll echo again. We're not just trying to go after companies to go after companies. If people are willing to work with us, I understand we're at a new era and technology's everywhere, and there are a lot of uses to it. I mean, it helps me to have technology to keep in touch with a lot of friends. But if there's knowledge that it's allowing predators to come in, and again, I think Snapchat is unique in that the disappearing element incentivizes predators to come in where it's tough to keep a traced record. But we've got an evidentiary record that we feel very strongly, supports that Snapchat has violated the law, and we want to hold them accountable.
Do you know how many child victims there are in the state of Florida because of Snapchat, or how many people would be?
I don't have a solid number on that right now, but it's not insignificant.
Do you have anything to offer to parents? What should parents do? What can they look out for? What advice can you offer to parents? Across all the social media platforms. What
Sure.
can they do to kind of help their kids navigate this?
Well, the first thing is communicate. You got to be real with your kid and let them know there are dangerous people out there. If somebody is trying to message you and you don't know who that person is, you don't have a preset friendship. It's not a kid from school. It's not a family member. It's just a stranger out there. You have to assume the worst. You don't know who that person is. You don't know if their identity that they're putting forth is accurate, and you have no idea what agendas they have. And that goes for some of these video game and other websites as well. Research the parental controls that are available. Some of these sites are doing a good job of allowing parents the opportunity to track where they can see everything their kids are doing, to prevent their kids from being able to receive messages from people that aren't already in a core network. There are protocols and controls that are out there. Parents should look into those, and they should make sure that they are using them wherever possible. Parents should also, make the tough decision, is this the right age for my kid to have access to this application? And I've got a 5-year-old. When I say no to her, she doesn't like it. I imagine that's not going to change as she gets older. But some of those conversations need to be had, and sometimes being a parent means frustrating your kid. But pay attention, be engaged, and get up to speed on the tools you have at your disposal. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.